Hey guys, Attorney Walter. Now, I wanted to go into a couple things today. Now, I haven't had dinner yet. I've been super duper tired. I know I got to go live. We're actually a little bit earlier than we usually are. Usually we're like 8:15, 8:30. We're supposed to start at 8, but hey, 8:08 p.m., not bad for me. All right, let's get into this real quick. This video is going to be a quick summary video that we're going to be spending 1 hour today, only 1 hour today. Go ahead and allow me to go ahead and pack up some stuff because I'm going to be working on the New Jersey farm in the not too distant future. So let's get right to it. All right. There's no fourth stimulus. I keep seeing all these videos popping up. There's no legislation on the table that is likely to be successful and succeeding going forward for the fourth stimulus. There is none. So all these cute things that you keep seeing, they're not true. When something pops up, I'll let you know, but it's absolutely not going to be passed during this year. It's just not. It's not going to be passed. It's not part of the Build Back Better scenario. It's just not going to be passed. So please understand there's no fourth stimulus. The number one reason why there's no fourth stimulus, howdy William Rand, howdy Benny Hill, howdy Mike Doran, is because of inflation. In America, we have inflation that has the potential of getting out of control. It's not as bad as the Republicans are weaponizing it as, but it's certainly not as good as the Democrats are saying everything's cool, everything's fine. It's not cool. It's not fine. It's just not as bad as like the extreme, oh my goodness, that's being proposed by a lot of the talk shows on the right side. Now, with that said, the number one reason why we are not having a stimulus, just to recap from that big video, is that if the United States federal government gives everybody money, what happens is they have money to spend. Poor people spend money that they get because they've been trained to spend money because they got to spend it on food, they got to spend it on power, they got to spend it on water. They have to spend to be able to survive. Wealthy people don't. They put it in the bank because in order to keep their bubble, their happy little lifestyle, they just, keep paying what they already have. They put it in the bank. They're good to go. So here's the deal. There's a heck of a lot more poor people than there are wealthy people. William Randall, thank you. I really appreciate it. Love little hippopotamuses. William Randall just donated $5. I really, really appreciate it. The dogs may pop over. I gave him some treats over there, but I hear Sweetie kind of snickering at Shadow, but we'll see what happens. Now, with that said, if the federal government gives you a fourth stimulus, that means lots of poor individuals that are likely to spend money will spend money on things. And those things will be purchased up. And then China and Taiwan and other places have to go ahead and restock the United States. Well, with shipping issues and creation issues and manufacturing issues and distribution issues and blah, 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 it'll make it hard for those products to get back into the USA. So to replenish those items, we have a problem. The problem is not as many of those items will get back into the USA. So if people still have more money to buy more items and there's not as many items there to purchase, classic supply and demand, the demand for the items will go up. The supply is down, which means the cost of the items goes up and the value of the dollar goes down. So if they give you another stimulus, it will create hyperinflation. Put another way, in non-economic terms, that means very simply put, that essentially if they give you another fourth stimulus, basically it'll ruin the economy. If they don't give you a fourth stimulus, everybody will just kind of slowly lump along in their poor state. So basically, the federal government is keeping people poor right now so that the economy does not have hyperinflation. Now, I want to go through this thing about the reserves. A lot of these places are talking about, hey, we could have a fourth stimulus so long as they go ahead and tap into those reserves. The reserves that were left over from the stimuluses that were already passed, it adds up to hundreds of millions of dollars. Could it be converted into a fourth stimulus? Absolutely. Are they going to do that? No, because the moment they take those funds, somebody will come forward and say, I didn't have an opportunity to use them when I should have. I didn't have a this, I didn't have a that. And then all of a sudden, they are demonized. Also, if they distribute those funds to the American people, you guessed it, hyperinflation occurs because people are buying and selling, and there's not enough items to replace essentially those things that people bought. Now, could they essentially do it at some point? Sure, they could. Is 2021 legislation likely to pass anytime between now and then? It's not going to pass. They're at this point, they are winding down their efforts in Congress. They're done for the most part. We're in the end game. They're trying to build back, but that's their whole thing, which isn't even that great. So we'll keep rolling. Letters to Congress. I see hundreds of thousands of subscribers are lapping it up when some of these YouTube channels write letters to Congress. A lot of people have asked me, a lot of people have been aggressive towards me. Oh, GXY, excellent. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. GXY donated $5. I really, really, really appreciate it. And guys, again, William Randall and GXY both donated $5, and I really appreciate it. So here's the thing. A lot of these YouTube channels are like The Answers, writing letters to Congress. Not so much. And then these other individuals in the chat session area got kind of aggressive about like why I wasn't writing letters. Guys, my job all day from 9 to 5 is writing letters. They're called motions. It's a letter to the judge. It's a letter to the judge requesting, demanding, whatever. And the bottom line is I write them all day long. The judge usually has to respond to those. Congress does not. Congress, the actual congressmen and women, most of them will never read your letter. Dare I say, every time they won't? No, but 99.9999999%, they don't care about that letter that's being sent. They just don't. The next thing, too, you're assuming that they're going to read it, they're going to see it, they're going to interact with it, etc. No, they have their political ideology of what they want to pass. They're going to do whatever's going to get them the most fame and excitement and whatever so that they get put into office again. Okay, what people want is one thing. What they want is another thing. If you make your thing what they want, you've officially made them afraid of being voted out. That's the whole big thing. If you want control over politicians, they have to fear the American people. If they fear the American people, it's because they're afraid of being voted out. That's the whole thing. And that's the thing. Now, I haven't had a chance to work on specifically votetoprotectthedisabled.org. I am going to be doing that over this Christmas break. I'll be up in New Jersey working on the family farm. I'll be working on that in kind of my side time. I'll also be reading spaceconstitution.org. Have all the details ready for that. So I'm excited to finally get a little bit away from the law firm and do some of the other stuff. Okay. We will be going through SNAP benefits. We will be going through a lot of this other stuff shortly. So just as a heads up, we're going to go through a whole thing where you can call in, etc. Now, before we do that, I need to go through something with you guys that's incredibly important. It's incredibly important. I want to explain to you essentially what, CPI is, COVID inflation is, all that stuff. Because if you know that, you're going to be much more well-armed going forward. I understand and I get it that these are not fun topics. I totally get that. If I were selling you guys hope, I would have 300,000 something subscribers. Since I'm selling you guys reality and education, 30,000 subscribers. So let's learn about it. It's important. You're going to do better than the people down the block that are watching the other channels going, oh my God, I love how you're advocating for me. You're writing a letter to a politician. Let's do things that actually matter. COVID inflation surge to continue. Here's why the consumer price index is heading higher. I purposely did not go to Republican or Democrat main base groups to print out an article. I went to Forbes because they are obviously a financial group. December 15th, 2021, 12:50 p.m. Mike Patton, senior contributor. All right, let's go through this. Okie doke. Inflation has become a very disturbing trend these days. The consumer price index, or CPI, the consumer price index, think of that kind of like COLA, but a little bit different. We'll go through exactly how. CPI, which measures the rate of increase for a predetermined basket of goods, has soared. Oh, that shot on Sweetie. Has soared to a level not seen since March of 1982. Now, remember, the Republicans are using this to have a heyday. It's not, I guess Sweetie's trying to get Shadow's toys. It's not as bad as they're saying it is. It's not. But it could get there relatively quickly. All right. Sweetie, come here. Back then, inflation was subsidizing. Maybe the speller. Today, it seems to be heading. Hi, Sweetie. Sweetie, come here. Sweetie. Good. All right. The central issue is the inflation rate for producers, which is quite a bit higher than the rate for consumers. Now, right there, split it up in your mind. You've got rate for producers and rate for consumers. People who produce stuff, people who consume stuff. If you're sitting at home eating something, you are a consumer, okay? Consumer price index. People who use stuff, they buy stuff, the consumers. Consumer price index. Inflation is measured by the consumer price index. Some suggest it is understated and that the rate is actually much higher. But, that's a debate for another time. At issue is how much it is rising and why. Okay? Over the past 12 months ending November 2021, CPI increased 6.81%. Now, I know what you're thinking. My COLA was 5.9. If CPI is 6.81%, then I'm going to be poor. You are correct. You are correct. This recent spike has caused concerns in the financial markets, more specifically the stock market, as it prompts the federal government to abandon its easy monetary policy and begin to tighten. Now, I need to make something clear. Something these guys are not reporting on that is causing this timeline is that the giant, massive housing market has now completed sending out. Oh, wow. Phil Price. Thank you. Phil Price just donated $9.99. Love the pair. That's awesome. That's really cool. Thank you. Thank you, Phil Price. So the housing market has now completed going through and giving people new interest rates. So if you had an interest rate at 4.6, a lot of you were getting a 3.1. The bottom line is the federal government hung on to give people that better interest rate. And as a result of that, now that they've done that, now that the housing market is settled, people are happy, things are moving forward, now they can play hardball with the economy and start raising percentage points up. Here we go. Okay. This recent spike has caused concern in the financial markets, more specifically the stock markets, and it prompts the Fed to abandon its easy monetary policy and begin to tighten. In fact, the Fed has already announced it will withdraw its monetary stimulus faster than expected. This has made investors nervous, sending stock prices lower, which is inflation rising. Why is inflation rising so much? Because of the producer price index. Okay. Let's go through that. The producer price index measures the rate of inflation for producers. Normally, PPI is below CPI. In fact, over the past 10 years, CPI has been higher than PPI 60% of the time. Okay? Even when PPI rose at a faster rate than CPI, the difference was minimal. This is not the case today. So here's the big problem right here. If you guys were wondering what's going on with inflation, it's the difference between CPI and PPI, a consumer versus producer. This is not the case today, as PPI is much higher than CPI. In short, production costs are rising at a much faster rate than consumer prices. Production costs. That means like making stuff, to produce something, to make something. You go to a store, you want to buy an item, that item essentially costs more to produce. All right. Shirley Bennett. Wow. Bennett. Shirley Bennett. Help me out with how to pronounce your name, because I always see your comments and they're amazing. They're really, really good. She just donated with a beautiful pair. You are amazing. $19.99. And I really, really appreciated that. Guys, these are actually funds that I use to basically buy a lot of treats for the dogs, which is why they're a little bit chubby right now. And I love them so much. Sweetie looks like a baked potato with sour cream on her face because she's adorable and has a white stripe on her head. So what this means is, guys, that the cost to produce these items is going up too fast. And I know what you're thinking. Well, that's control the production of a lot of the items that. Correct. You would be correct. We do not have the power as a country to control what we actually get from our real producers. We just don't. We don't have the power anymore. When was the last time you guys met a welder? When was the last time you guys met somebody that would like make something, yada, yada? It's rare. You know, most of our jobs are service jobs. All right, here we go. So in this cute little chart here, you can see what's happening. Things are awesome, and then they're terrible. That's basically what's going on. Okay. All right. To explain, when producers are forced to pay more to produce their goods as they are now, they have two choices. They can absorb the additional costs, which reduces profits, or pass these additional costs on to consumers, which is what they're doing. They're passing it on to consumers. Since corporate profits are the lifeblood of stock prices, the more likely course is to pass these additional costs along to consumers, which pushes inflation higher and makes people very afraid to invest into the stock market. Because if prices for things at companies become really expensive, then people are not going to want to invest into that company by buying their stuff. And if people don't buy their stuff for that company, then the company stock goes down. Okay. Supply chain woes. Whoa. The supply chain issue lies at the heart of the recent rise in the cost of living. Now, I want to point out here, what they're not touching on in this article is that over the next year, the cost of living in the sense of rent is going to go up significantly. This is especially bad for retired, disabled individuals. What I mean by that are fixed income individuals. You think you got to deal with your 5.9% COLA increase? No, you didn't. And I can already see some of you are angry about it because of the food stamps. Let's keep reading. Because the world is dealing with a global pandemic, many countries have sporadically shut down portions of their economy. We did. Even when economies are fully open, there's often a shortage of workers, which leads to a shortage of products. Even if there were enough products, there are significant bottlenecks at U.S. ports where products are stuck either on ships in, dramatic turning of the page occurs, harbor, or in storage containers at the port waiting to be unloaded and distributed. When you combine a shortage of products with strong consumer demand, you get a perfect recipe for a significant supply-demand curve imbalance, which is precisely why inflation is surging. Too much demand, too little supply. Now, I want to read that again because the whole point of this is this explains why we don't have a fourth stimulus. I'm going to read it again. Remember, as a lot of people go ahead and get stimulus money, they go buy stuff. And when they go buy stuff, all those items are taken off the shelf. And then the big ships have to come and resupply those little lines on the shelf in Walmart and Publix and wherever you go. Okay? At Amazon, whatever, it doesn't matter. And then there's not enough products. And then people buy even more. And then there's not enough products. The demand for these products, it rises up. But the price of the products, does it shrink downward? No, it goes way up because we don't have enough products. People want a lot of those products, and we have to pay more as a result of that. That's how it works. Remember, if you got a concert coming up, right? Concert's coming up. Hey, got decent seats. Concert gets sold out. What happens to the tickets you're holding? They just went up in price. Okay, now we got even more bands going to the concert. The concert's going to be even bigger. What just happened to the price of those concert tickets? It went up in price because the demand went up. Right? Demand went up. How long will inflation remain elevated? Is inflation just a temporary problem? Yeah, of course it is. It always is. But not in America in the short sense. It's a long-term problem now. It depends on your definition of temporary. Well put. That's a lawyer thing. How long it lasts will depend on several factors. Oh, sorry. Let me reread that other sentence again. When you combine a shortage of products with strong consumer demand, you get a perfect recipe for a significant supply-demand curve imbalance. This is precisely why inflation is surging. Too much demand, too little supply. You give money a lot of people with the forced stimulus, what happens? You get too much demand. They want to buy stuff. Not enough supply. Recipe for inflation. Let's keep reading. All right. Inflation will subside as we return to normal. Are they going to let us return to normal? That's the kicker. How will this occur? Effective treatments, responsible government policies, and cooperative society. It also depends. Oh God, cooperative society. Ugh. That's how you end up with not America. That's literally how you end up with the opposite of America. That's how you end up with basically Australia. It also depends on how the rest of the world handles the pandemic. During the past 2 years, we have learned just how interconnected we are to the rest of the world. Inflation will also subside if the economy weakens. What could cause this? The short answer is federal policy. As the Fed continues to withdraw its monetary stimulus and sets its sights on raising interest rates, the economy will weaken. Too much Fed tightening historically has been a catalyst for recessions. Demand falls during a recession, which would help bring the supply-demand curve back into balance. Let me put that in English for you. If America makes you poor, then the dollar will be strong. You don't want to be poor, but if you're doing great, the dollar won't be worth as much. That's exactly what's happening. And I'd like to point out with this, guys, that is why if one group is able to get high enough up the corporate ladder, all these other people then have to shrink downward for the balance equation to still work. In summary, inflation will be with us for a while and possibly get worse before it gets better. Too little supply, too much demand, and a global pandemic causing supply chain disruptions are the relevant factors. Getting back to normal will also depend on how well the world handles COVID, and that unfortunately is unknowable. All right, I was going to do a different thing for tonight about how CNN unintentionally trained basically a serial child predator. but I'm going to say that for another night. Also, next week, we're going to be doing the first video of how to write a bill. It's a relaxed video. I showed the videos to one of my buddies. He was good until about video 4, and then he got lost. So I got to figure out how we're going to do those videos a little bit better. When it comes to the legal research part of knowing which laws to change and how to rewrite them, that's where I tend to lose people with that. But I'm getting better. I think the video is getting simpler and simpler. And I'm trying to create like an equals, MC squared version of how to write a bill, which is usually reserved only for attorneys, judges, legislators, which are mostly attorneys anyway. But I want to make it accessible because in my opinion, and I might be a total idiot on this, in my opinion, if we show the American people how to write a bill, it's a heck of a lot better than sending a "I'm begging you" letter to Congress. If you've got a bill in your hand and in the other hand, the signatures to pull back that politician, you have all you need to pass a bill. That's it. You need the threat of the bill being written out and the threat of their removal in the other hand, ready to be the green button pushed. And that's all you need to pass legislation in America. Pretty simple and interesting. All right, guys, I'm now, because we're only doing an hour, we're now at 8:30. I'm now going to open everything up for people to call in to ask any questions that they like. Please remember the 3 things. Number 1, don't use your real name. Use a fake name. Number 2, very important. Please, 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 please remember, it's either one of 2 options. You can either ask a specific question or you can go ahead and run hearing questions. And number 3, please be aware of the time limit. A lot of people like to just be aware of the time limit. So there's the phone number. If you guys want to call in, it's 407. I'll type it again, 407-279-1754. I'm going to go ahead and get the, okay, let's see. Okay, so with that said, if anybody wants to call in, I'm ready to roll. If nobody wants to call in, I get to actually start stuff early and get ready for all my things that are going on. Other than that, I'll answer some of the questions. If you had questions, put them in the chat real quick. I saw one in here, and I just want to also thank all the people that donated money. Madame Shirley, Philip Price, GXY, William Randall. I really appreciate it, guys. It does help me. Small law firms struggled significantly during this whole pandemic situation. So I really do appreciate it. Keeping my doggies happy keeps me happy, and that's a huge thing. Okay, so Charlotte Zimmerman said, I got my update increase 5.9% today in mail today from SSA starting in January. That's good. Patrick Hardy, the USA dollar used to be backed up by gold and silver. The US dollar used to be powerful, now blank paper. Yeah, it's not powerful because of the credit system. It's also not capable of following the gold and silver standard because we're into trillions and trillions of land. We don't know how much gold is in this giant rock called Earth, but we do know this: there's not enough gold for how ridiculous our financial system is getting. Those fake YouTubes made a lot of money from YouTube for each video they make. I know they do. I know. Some of these YouTube channels, Blind to Billionaire, probably makes more than a law firm makes per month, which is just ridiculous to think. And I represent a ton of claimants. I represent a lot of SSI claimants too, which don't make a lot of money, but I do it because I'm trying to better the world, which unfortunately financially is not a wise choice. Okay, I got the letter saying SNAP benefits will be less because of the 5.9% January increase. Yes, they could have passed so here's the thing. Cost of living adjustment is supposed to be put in place to make people whole for essentially things that they're going to buy being equivalent, except they just cost more. So in 2021, everything costs this. In 2022, everything's going to cost this. They give you a 5.9% COLA, cost of living adjustment increase. Not that you're getting more money, you're just getting the same amount of money that would cost to buy the same amount of crap. But now what they're doing is they are reducing SNAP benefits because of the increase, which, putting it very simply, is a shitty federal and state government trick. They're always finding ways to give you a little and then remove more. All right. Did you ever pick a logo? No. I have to call her probably after this show to check in with her, but we have to finalize the logo. And we need somebody like a digital designer who can make certain things based on what everybody liked. Let's see. SSI would like to know more. Thank you, Walter. In Georgia State, safe apartment full of black mold on SSI state will not do anything. SNAP went down for myself, down to 1 meal a day. Yeah, look, guys, when it comes to mold in your apartment, the only options for really getting rid of that are spraying into the wall, basically tinting the whole area. The thing you have to do is you just have to move out to a better place. There's nothing you can do as a regular just on SSI, on SSDI, on retirement person You have to literally tent the whole thing and kill everything that's growing in it, or you have to essentially go ahead and putting it simply, get some sort of chemical spray into the walls, in which case you shouldn't be there when that's going on either. Either way, you should just get a different apartment. That's the reality of it. Okay, we have to get a true audit. This is from Ann Hedgehog, and make them account for all the money they already get. They have to assign the money to the projects that they were collected to support and Medicare for all. That would be nice. It would be great to audit the Fed. It would be great to audit the states. There's no true group that oversees state voting systems. I thought there had to be. I was wrong. There's no magical group that oversees and audits the state. The state has little things inside the state. No. You need like an actual like consumer group, of the people group, maybe a federal group, but that's not only. You need more than that to audit the voting system. Bob, look, we have in reality over 10% inflation. It's probably, good sir Bob, it's probably higher than that. Inflation printing more money will cause hyperinflation, which will eat your benefits up regardless. I say no more stimulus unless you want an economic collapse. Bob is correct. There would be an economic collapse if they did a full stimulus right now, a fourth stimulus. Sandra Arcuri in Ohio, Walmart is going to close because of Biden. What? Why the hell would Walmart close because of Biden? Anyways, yeah, Sandra, let me know what's going on there with the whole Walmart in Ohio. That's Bob. Interest rates will have to rise, but if they do that, it will lead to collapse. It's inflation or economic collapse. That is their choice. Yeah. So what we've got here is a sticky situation problem. If they raise interest rates too quickly, it could cause basically a recession depression problem. That is too extreme, far worse than 2008. If they go ahead and raise it too slowly, we have extreme hyperinflation and everything goes to hell. If they do it magically at the right rate, it's still going to be a shit show. So that's unfortunately what's happening. Words. So this is to Jackie P. That's insane. I went off all food stamps because it was too humiliating. It's hard, but I make do. Yeah, the thing with food stamps is I wish we had a system to make it seem less like what it is when you approach with the card and do that stuff. Because it is a factor. There's all these things that in the federal government, that in the state government, that we do that like bring a person down a little, humiliate them a little bit. And I think you're right. That's, like look at the SSI people without hardly any money. They can't date. They can't really find a place to even live. Their life is a vow of poverty, but without all the cool stuff, like a Jedi would have a vow of poverty and wouldn't be with people. But at the same time, you know what I mean? That's the issue. Patrick Hardy, see how YouTube do people who tell the facts. Yeah, I know the reloading thing. I've been cut off quite a few times. Thomas Tomlin, hi, Walter. Hope your day was good. It was actually a good day for most of it, and then about 10% total crap. But, sometimes claimants lie, and I'm totally cool with that. Sometimes they lie and then manipulate me. That doesn't happen often. It happened with this one claim, but it's okay. Bruce Davis, well, Walter, I can't afford much anymore with my check for a month. I only have food 21 days, then I run out. So, and I want to be really clear here. People on disability benefits, for the most part, cannot save money. People on disability benefits, for the most part, cannot afford a full month of what they need. So if they can't save and they can't afford a full month of what they need, then essentially what we have here is people who are going to continuously digress into lower standards of poverty. There will be, if we keep on this path, within the next 2 to 3 years, a lot of SSI people who are receiving the benefits who are still going to have to remain homeless because the benefits cannot cover them. So I want to point out to you guys, at some point they've got to pass this SSI Restoration Act, because if they have all these different SSI people becoming homeless as a result of not having enough money, that's not going to go well. All right, next thing. All right, Patrick Hardy, why the hell they take the American taxpayers' money to help other man-made countries on this earth and help people running to the U.S. versus the people from here? The main reason why the U.S. is funding alternative countries is, number one, for military dominance. So we can set up different military bases in these other countries so that we can have airports in these different countries. And number two, which is now becoming number one, is vote farming. The more immigrants that are brought in, the more that we fund, basically people coming over to this country from those other countries and distribute funds to help them move from point. If you guys haven't figured out, it takes a lot of money and a lot of planning and a lot of training and a lot of the same color bags on their back, walking up, in South America. It takes a lot of money to fund mass population changes when it comes to immigration. And that's what's going on. One country, America, is funding other countries to go ahead and allow their citizens to leave. Here's the reality. A lot of countries, if they were smart, they would put their citizens to work. They would, because more citizens you have, more GDP, more money you have to use as taxes. But what America is doing is it's bankrupting all these other countries of their citizens, and that's basically bringing those citizens here to America, which will increase our GDP. But the likely thing is it's vote farming for specifically Democrats. They've increased their voting standard probably by a couple million at this point, just by the amount of immigrants that they've been able to pull in and then also validate through, essentially, whether it's U.S. citizenship or, any program that can get them to allowed to vote at this point. Nobody really knows what the voting laws are going to be in 2 years because we're just kind of ignoring the constitutional law. Okay, so let's see. Charleston Zimmerman, one lifetime is about 80 years. Jack's Cuss, I don't believe they care about the American taxpayers until they want to increase taxes again. Yeah, pretty much. Surely price and demand raises the price. Correct. Patrick Hardy, I'm on SSDI and I don't get food stamps and housing. I'm poor now since I've been on disability. Very much so true. Jamie Smith, just face it, the Congress is all washed up as no results. This is more of a bloody scam. It is, guys. I can't defend them at this point. I tried to defend them in the very beginning. It's really bad. All right, so let's see. Pissed off from Walter Discord. Let's do this. Indeed. Words. Jack's because my friend had to spend down $30,000 to qualify for Medicaid. Can you imagine explaining that to someone in Sweden or something? I know. Other countries have it better. We don't actually do things in this country to make it better for the American people. We hyper tax those who are working, and then we spend a lot of money not on those who are unable to work or who have already put in lots of time working, like the retired. What we do in this country is we tax people a lot, give very little to those people who can no longer work or who are already retired and worked their entire life. And we send a lot of this money to things that are, projects that if people only knew, which is why we need to audit this whole thing. All right, let's see. How do we get out of this? It's simple. We have to basically create federal laws and state laws so that every politician can be voted out in a simple and easy way if they don't meet certain levels of completion for the things that they intended to do. We have to hold every single politician accountable for the bullet point list that they said that they were going to do when they got into office. We have to have timelines of expectation of when they're going to complete these tasks, and when they don't complete these tasks in an appropriate manner and way deemed by the people, then they get voted out. It's that simple. Also, we train the American people how to write bills. That way they know how to vote the people out, create the bills. That two in combination creates new legislation. New legislation fixes this whole thing. You can restrict essentially how they spend money. You can get the old politicians out that are part of the game, and then you can go ahead and pass the things that will help the American people based on the American dollar. Okay. All right. Pamela Strickland, I feel like the people in the White House don't care about anyone that's getting SSI or SSDI, or the veterans or the homeless. They suck. So if they did, there would be a lot more emphasis towards the Social Security 2100 Act. The retirement fund wouldn't be running out in 10 years. The SSI Restoration Act would be on the tip of the tongues of a lot of politicians. It's not. Okay. Garden, no lag here. Good. No lag. Let's see. Michelle Rock, I'm just kind of going to the bottom. Walter, I don't see that happening. We are in an age where the government is going to do what they want. How do you get the old farts out? That's funny, actually. But here's the thing. The old part of their own clubs. Oh, wow. Rosa Soto. Thank you. I really appreciate it. There we go. So it's for Shadow and Sweetie. So basically, thank you. I really appreciate that. Rosa Soto just donated $19.99. I really appreciate it, guys. They're right now, I can hear him in the background. I think Shadow's laying on the couch and Sweetie's standing at the couch, breathing heavily into his ear. Then she starts barking at him. She is a princess, and she literally spends the day either inside on the couch or outside swimming around the pool. It's ridiculous. I haven't been in my pool that I bought with this house for 6 months. I've been in it, I think, 3 to 4 times over the 2 years that I've owned this house, almost 3 years now. Sweetie has been in it every single day. So I pay to basically make Sweetie happy. That's how I live. All right. So with that said, again, thank you so much, Rosa Soto, for the donation of $19.99. I really appreciate it. So basically, the fundamentals of what my plan is. I used to really want to convince the politicians the worth of the disabled, the worth of the retired. I'm giving up on that. That's not going to be successful. I thought that there was somewhere in here something good where I could convince their heart to go ahead and change how they approach the disabled, how they want to work with the disabled, and increase the standard of living for the retired. That's not going to happen. They have no interest in serving the retired and disabled. They view them solely as something that is on an Excel sheet. That is something that they are, trying to go ahead and figure out how to reduce the cost. That's their big thing there. I need you guys to understand something. The only way to actually fix this nation is by educating the American people about their rights, how to write a bill, and then legislating to go ahead and put in term limits, to go ahead and put in essentially, let's call it like it is, a system where we can go ahead and gauge them. All right, so you know how like when people work for corporations, they'll bring them in and okay, we have these things that we're looking at. We want to assess you on this and this and this and this and this and go through those details. We don't do that with the politicians. We rely on the news stations to tell us how good or bad they're doing. And we know that CNN rolls one way and Fox News rolls the other way. And we know that somewhere in between there, the American people don't get anything as a result of these two news stations controlling the emotions. I want to point something out too. And this is important. I want to point this out, and then I'm going to I'll call this person back. I want to point this out. The problem is this. The issue with this whole situation is that we invest a lot of our emotion into the arguments that are stated by CNN and Fox News. We get all excited. We're all into it. And we're like, oh, I agree. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my gosh. We get all excited. But remember, their job as news stations is not to fix this. Their job as news stations is to sensationalize it. And remember, they have the easiest job out of anybody. They have literally the easiest job out of anybody. All they have to do is create extreme excitement to sell TV news time to people who want to buy essentially 30 seconds, a minute of advertising time. That's it. That's all they've got to do. They don't have to fix a damn thing. They don't have to go ahead and make you feel like there's a solution. They don't have to provide solutions. Watch Tucker Carlson or the Kumos when they were in the Kwame, whatever. Watch them. Watch them. They never give you solutions. They give you quick little anecdotes that are BS that actually solve nothing. That's why it's useless dribble. Hold on. We're going to take a call real quick. Okay. Howdy, good sir. Remember to use a fake name throughout this. Would you like me to answer a specific question, or would you like me to go ahead and run hearing questions with you?
This is James. I sent a message earlier.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
About that. I don't know if you heard it. It was about a sexual offender issue, after I became disabled. I want to know if I can get it removed.
Oh,
20 years ago.
Oh, I can look at that. I have to see specifically what state you're in, where the issue occurred, what happened with it.
Idaho State now, but it occurred in California.
Okay. And you sent me an email on it, right? Well, all right. Let's do this.
No, voicemail.
Oh, voicemail. All right. I didn't get a chance to listen to it. Was it towards the end of the day? Was it in the middle of the day? When did you leave it?
At the beginning of the day.
The beginning of the day. Okay, cool. I'll have to go back and look. If I don't have one in there, do me a favor after the show, leave another message, because I got to work on stuff in my prep for all this holiday stuff, but I'll then review it, and then I'll call you back about that, because that's not like this. That's not disability law stuff, but I'll definitely help you out. No problem. All right.
Oh, disability law stuff.
No, but it's okay. I'll still pull up the law and I'll send it to you on how to, like, and it might be something where after so many years, like 10 years, 20 years, it can be pulled, back. It might be something where it exists forever, but I'll find the specific thing for your state, your county, where it basically takes place.
Wow.
All right.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely, good sir. No worries.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Well, you have a wonderful night. Okay. Yeah.
So I don't call with the wrong question in the future. Disability law is like receiving the benefits and stuff.
Well, it's receiving benefits, testimony questions for the hearing. It's about, what are the changes coming up in legislation for how the benefits are applied. But honestly, a lot of people call me about a lot of random stuff. I had calls today
Yeah,
about,
I'm sorry. That's
yeah.
totally random.
No, it's totally fine. But
Totally,
yeah, but
misunderstanding.
no worries. Just go ahead, leave me another message on there. I'll pull it up and then I'll take a look at it. Try and give me a call tomorrow. I'm going to be running around tomorrow, but at some point I should be able to call you back and give you a quick walkthrough.
Thank you, sir.
You
Have
got
a
it.
good day.
You as well. So, guys, real quick. Okay, let's see. I'm just curious as to what time, because I got to find that real quick. All right, I'll find it later, but now I have the phone number there. That came in later, around 4 something. All right. So here's the deal. All right, now, what are we going to do? How does this thing go forward? Let's read through some of the things. Bernie Sanders will be the next president in 2024. It's unlikely, and here's why. I would love to see Bernie Sanders get put in, but it's unlikely. Bernie Sanders has 2 shots of the Democratic nomination, and then we saw him getting up that ladder, getting to the top, and then all of a sudden, boom, his shots were totally cut off. We also saw that all of a sudden he had, with one of those events, a new house. I don't think Bernie is being as directly honest with the American people as the American people would like to see. I think Bernie Sanders represents one side of what America wants, but I don't think the government is willing to give Bernie Sanders a shot at that. And they keep assisting Bernie Sanders with allowing somebody else to basically become the presidential candidate. So do I think that he will become a president? No. Do I think he's got great ideas? He's got a lot of great ideas. He really does. All right. The House has 6 people up for election, 34 in Senate. So Dems better add stimulus checks. So here's the thing. I don't know what will happen with the election, but 2 things are absolutely clear. If the House gets close enough to potentially have a right lean, not necessarily Republican, it's not going to have that, but a right lean, then potentially, and it's rare, if the Senate is won by the Republicans, you would see essentially Biden being, going through the same proceedings that Trump went through when it comes to, can we get him out of office? Can we go ahead and tag him on some criminal act as a president? The impeachment process. If the Senate goes Republican and the House goes Democrat, then essentially what we're left with is a nobody does anything Congress, which is usually the easiest for the politicians because they just blame each other and nothing ever gets done. So that's the issue. Shirley said TV stations are in for their high ratings, so the more dramatic news, the more people watch, therefore bumping up the ratings. I personally believe a lot of the reason that Trump got elected, other than being like somebody who's not a politician, who has a lot of money that can afford it, who told everybody exactly where he's at, which was refreshing in that. People didn't like some of that. They liked, we want him to be a pleasant gentleman. And I get that. I understand that. We expect that from the presidential role. But I think he was the great act that basically made the news stations rich. Now, without him, CNN, MSNBC, they're floundering. They are at like 1980s, 1990s viewer levels. It's horrible for them. Fox News isn't doing as well. People aren't watching TV. You get my logo a few weeks back or long, Jeannie DeLevy. I don't have it. Send it to me again. Let me give you the email real quick. So Jeannie DeLevy, send me the thing again. It's info@disabilityresolution.com. Also send it to info@vote2protectdisabled.org. Send it those 2 that way I make sure I get it. Because keep in mind, guys, during the day and pretty much until 2 a.m. almost every night, I work as an attorney. And that's the funny thing for me. That's what's so ridiculous about this. I am the literal person working in the industry. 3,500 or 36 or whatever my subscriber thing is, like 30-something thousand subscribers. Then you have on this side advocates who have never done a single thing in their life that has anything to do with actual results. 300,000 plus subscribers. That's what blows my mind. Another thing that blew my mind, Jonathan Ginsburg, a good attorney, does good stuff. He did a video. It's like, we're now the largest law firm for disability benefits on YouTube. And he has almost 50,000 subscribers. But we actually produce more videos and we actually get now more actual viewers per video. So And we've actually produced literally thousands of videos more than him. So the ironic thing is we are actually the largest. Who cares? It doesn't really matter. The real thing that matters is Attorney Walter Knott versus the advocates of YouTube. The advocates of YouTube are releasing YouTube videos today about it passed immediately, coming to you immediately, fourth stimulus, all this junk crap. Whereas I'm coming out having to go, and you literally saw my video intro. It's like, there's no fourth stimulus, must legislate to use reserves. No 2021 reserve legislation likely, liquidity problem. That's the reality that we face. These guys sell hope. I sell reality. Inconvenient truth is not here. It's over here. Fluff and hope is right here. You want to know what makes Star Wars so great? Hope. You want to know what makes, these news channels that just report what actually happened not great? Reality. That's why I have 30,000 subscribers. That's why they have 300,000 plus subscribers. All right. Okay, let's see. Bob, why does the government print $3 billion a day at all 3 minutes and never shut down? Yeah, that is a good question. Ginsburg seems like a good guy. Please don't start a feud. Oh, no, I'm not starting a feud with him. No, there's no point to start a feud. It's just, he came out with that video and I was like, actually, at this point, but I'm not going to create like another video that's like you're not going to see me come out with like we are now the largest whatever, because there's no point. There's no point. And that's the thing is, you don't want feuds between people that actually do the work. You can have feuds between idiots and these advocates that do nothing all day long. You can have them on TV screaming at each other. You can have them on Fox News. You can have them on CNN. You can have them all day long screaming at each other. That's acceptable because that's junk TV. That's honey boo boo version of the people who actually do this. On the other hand, you have the people, right? So you have these people who claim to do it. These people who are like, I'm going to write a letter, all this crap. And then you have the people over here who are so busy doing it that they've ruined to some degree what they could have as a personal life, how much time it takes to do it right. You don't put a feud between these people. You allow these people to do the maximum amount that you can. These people, let them do their honey boo boo show. That's how they make money. Literally, that's how they make money. Walter, why does LA Late say by MSN and Blind to Billionaire say have stimulus check? They're saying that and it's wrong and they know it's wrong. Here's what they're doing. They're saying that the first part of the sentence of their video is, it's coming immediately. It's going out immediately. I'm excited about it being released. But it's not the stimulus check that they're talking about. They're talking about the letter that they're writing to Congress. So when Blind to Billionaire puts up, or sending this out immediately, you can see it coming your way shortly. They're talking about the letter that they're writing to Congress. They're not talking about a forced stimulus. Now, it's misleading because the first part of the sentence is being released immediately, being sent immediately. And then the second part of the sentence is right here, fourth stimulus news and updates. So the first part you're thinking has to do with the second part. But the first part is not the release of the fourth stimulus. The first part of the sentence is the release of their letter. The second part of their sentence is about the fourth stimulus. It's junk. It's YouTube crap. They're junk channels. YouTube is awesome for allowing all these different people to come on here and be a part of an open community. Yes, there's some limitations here and there, but think about it. It is pretty amazing that people can deliver news through this system. YouTube is worth, I don't know, it's like 4 or 5 times what Fox News is worth, and Fox News is worth like 2 or 3 times what CNN and MSNBC are worth. So the point is this, guys, it's great that we have this sort of existing channel, this existing platform, YouTube, to go ahead and reach out and say, here's the truth. So I need you to understand that's what's happening with those other types of channels. They are creating one thing, and then they are putting what you want to hear about happening on the second part of the sentence so that you click on it. And they know this stuff. They know that when YouTube shows how much wording there is, they might not show the entire sentence. They might just show right here. Not the entire sentence, just right here. And what that means is that you'll see it's being sent out immediately, and then fourth stimulus, and that's it. That's the whole sentence that you see. You don't see the full sentence. You just see this is how many letters you get to see. There's another thing, too, that I want to point out. When they go ahead and do this stuff, they build up repetition, but they're running out of ideas. Now they're into updating, what's going on with the letter that they're sending in. That's like the whole big thing. Right. Breaking news. There's no $1,200 check coming. There's no $2,000 check coming. There's no $1,400 check coming. There's no $600 check coming. So let's see. Crazy Frenchman. I told Blind to Billionaire supporters to come over here. I appreciate it. Maybe they will. But I have a truth, and people don't want to know the truth for the most part. Jack's cuz Biden lied to get into office, saying he was going to help people on SSI and SSDI. Never kept his promises, and things were going to vote for him again. What a joke. Here's the thing with Biden. Biden gets to sit back as a politician and say, I got 3 more years left. I could do this whenever I want. CNN just came out with a list of potential replacements for President Biden. I can't even think. Have you guys ever seen, ever in the history of your life, a news station that's coming out with a list of other potential presidential candidates against a sitting president in year 1? Have you ever seen that? I've never seen that. Maybe it exists, but I have never seen that. Never. Yeah, right. Pissed off from him. Finally, 4th stimulus approved. That one's just a blatant lie. There's no wiggle room on how they could get out of that one. That one's just a blatant lie. New to this channel, are you licensed attorney? What states? Yeah, I'm licensed state of Florida and also at the federal level too. Attorney Walter Knott, howdy, M. Brown. Garden, I love your truth. Awesome. LJ Moore, why does SSA take $300 from felons that file for benefits? I didn't know they did that. I've never seen an example of that. And I've worked with many, many felons. I've worked with many, many people that are just getting out of jail this week, next week, the weeks thereafter, all that stuff. LJ Moore, send me an email on that. I'll go research it. I have never seen that happen. I've never seen the SSA take money. So normally the way it works is when you go to jail. Okay. Now, you're saying the 1/3 reduction rule. That's what you're saying. You're saying that they take it from 794 down to a little bit above 500. In that reason, the in-kind support and maintenance rule, they're allowed to reduce. Well, no, and that doesn't even matter. If you're in a jail or a prison, you're 30 days in one of these facilities, they take all of your benefits for that month. If they pay you those benefits and they go onto the card and then you get out, then you get hit with an overpayment. If you're in if some facility that's not a government facility goes ahead and helps you out or whatever, or a grandma gives you money or mom and dad give you a place to live, then they can reduce your SSI benefits by 1/3. But they're not going to reduce your SSDI benefits. All right, so let's go through here. Okay, so let's see. Buy the book, The Great Reset and COVID-19. I need to check that out. If anybody can send me a link on that, I'd appreciate it. Michelle Rock, Biden's career for the last 50 years has done nothing for America. Actually, Biden's career for Social Security, the agency, has been absolutely horrible. I haven't done a video on it yet because I was almost certain that was going to get me blocked and banned from this platform. But I'm thinking about it because it is what it is. Let's see. Marie, thank you, buddy, for your videos. Bruce Davis, I've never seen that. K Guardian, it can definitely be misleading. Blind to Billionaire is more genuine than LA Late. In my opinion, your profession give you an edge. Yeah, so here's the thing. LA Late, it's bad. Blind to Billionaire has evolved to become more honest with his approach to these videos. In the very beginning, he wasn't like that. He became very shystery at one point, and then he brought it way back. I don't know if YouTube reached out to him. I don't know what happened. I did see that. I've watched his videos. I've seen him. It's literally 4 minutes of intro of, wouldn't that be great if we had money? I know I would be happy. He probably makes more money than me with that many subscribers. I have an attorney, I own a law firm, and I have a YouTube channel. But with the amount of subscribers that he has, he probably makes per month more than me because the law firm has a lot of costs. I have to pay for all these employees, pay for all the office stuff, etc. So I actually make money, but have to spend a lot of money. He doesn't have to spend a lot of money on costs because he has a room, and that's basically it. Camera comes on, and that's his whole thing. All right, let's see. All Blind to Billionaire ever does is repeat his sentences over and over. Yeah, a lot of it is that now because they don't know what to say. Let's see. Okay, Fairy Girl, what will happen if I and my son both on SSI come together to afford a home apartment? Will it cut our funds? No, it won't cut your funds. And that's because if both of you are paying towards the rent, the 1/3 reduction rule will not apply. There is no parent-son relationship situation with a marriage penalty, like with a wife and a husband. There's no parent-son based situation where they reduce the benefits so long as the child's benefits are going towards, of course, the rental payments. So there is no parent to child basically reduction. Now, there is a deeming thing, whereas if you have another parent earning a lot, so if the father was earning a lot of money, then they would do a deeming as element, one of the 3 elements of a child claim, and that could reduce the benefits because they could be earning too much. But that doesn't sound like this situation because it's just you and him trying to afford a home/apartment. I've actually reached out to four count 'em realtors to do a segment on this show about low-cost mortgages for the disabled. A total of 4 realtors have said, maybe, or just not responded. I don't know what it is, guys. It's like, and what they want is they don't want poor people to be able to go ahead and get a place that cuts into their market. Or if they do, they want it to not be through specialty, programs through the government. They want it to be through them because that's their bread and butter. I get it, which means I'm going to have to research it and then give it to you guys. Let's see real quick. Bruce Davis, Jack's cuz LA late, plays same thing over and over 7 days a week. Yeah. There's another thing too, guys. These YouTube creators will go ahead and release a video once in the morning, in the middle, afternoon, and then at night. They'll release 3 to 4 videos a day. If they had a real job, they would not be able to do that. But the real job is basically making videos that have a lot of, interesting phrasing to get them to where it's still able to be published and monetized. And then the same thing, my videos keep getting demonetized, but that's because I'm giving you guys the reality. I live in Virginia. Love you, Walter. Thank you. I appreciate it. Virginia is a really beautiful state. Let's see. Yeah, so pissed off from him. That's what I want to do. The first video of how to write a bill is coming out next week, no matter what. I was going to have it released basically after the new year. I don't want to do that. It's just too important to teach you guys the basics. And frankly, when I release these videos, a lot of it is not going to go well up front. How to write a bill. Number 1, emotional connection to why you want to write a bill, understanding it so that you stick with it. Number 2, what are the parts of a bill? You got your headings, you've got your bodies, etc. Number 3, legal research, where to find things, what are the things that you need to change, etc. Number 4, wording, how to change wording, what are different legal terms that you have to know. Number 5, structure of the overall thing, where do things go, what do you do with it? Number 6, the name, what is the name of it? Right? Everybody has like these cute little like BBB or the ABC law or the blah, 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 right? Creating the name for it, which is obviously the least important part of it unless you play games, in which case it's the most part. They'll come out with something that taxes more people and then call it the wealth saving rule, All right. Can you write a bill up for us struggling to get stimulus checks? Yeah, no, I can. I want to train you guys how to do it. All right, here's the deal. Here's what I wanted to do. I don't know if I'm going to get enough time to do this, but here's what I wanted to do. I wanted to go ahead and take the SSI Restoration Act bill and do a series of how to write a bill and then do a series on how to modify a bill. And then we were going to modify that bill so that it incorporated more good things for SSI people. And then we were going to approach doing the Social Security 2100 Act bill and how to modify that bill to go ahead and be better for people. I wanted this show to be about teaching people how to basically write and modify current bills. A lot of times you don't have to create one from scratch. You can just take one that was already written and then start to go and change it. But you still have to look for all the new laws that changed, because remember, if you change one law, there's usually other laws somewhere in the thing that reference that law that you have to change. And here's the problem with it. You need like a LexisNexis, you need a Westlaw to know what all of the chain of laws are. But there are other free websites out there like the Cornell website, etc., which are starting to open up this information and make it free to everybody, which is amazing. Did you guys know that obtaining, viewing, seeing, or even touching law, the scrolls of it back in the day, to the paper of it, was not accessible unless you paid? Go look up LexisNexis. Go look up Westlaw. Go look up these places. These are mega, mega businesses that retain documents, articles, law, etc. Make zillions of dollars doing that. There's so many things I want to teach you guys. There's so many things I can show you guys about how the system works. And I get frustrated because, sometimes I'll have a good day, sometimes I'll have a bad day. And then I have to come on here and be like, try to give the energy. But the reality is, if I didn't have to do the law firm gig every day, I could show you guys how to do all this stuff. But I don't have the subscribers to do that, to go ahead and pay for me to be able to live, to yada, yada. So I do the law firm gig. And I like the law firm gig. I like helping people. I like it. It's, I've spent years creating the best system that I could. There's a lot of improvements and changes I want to make, but I like helping people, which is obviously what we're doing right now. All right. So pissed off men charge monthly. I don't want to. No, see, here's the thing. And I get you. They have a way that you can have renter only content, like where they rent into your thing, right? They have those. Ginsburg has one of those that I've been told, where it's like only for his clients. I'm not doing that. I'm creating a new video on how to fill out the 3373 form. In my opinion, will be better than everybody else's, and it will be free to everybody. It is not the attorney's job to have to show you how to fill out the forms. That's not what our job is supposed to be. Our job is supposed to be representing you in the hearing with cross-examination testimony, reading through the articles, reading through the medical documentation, writing the brief, prepping the opening statement. That's what an attorney's supposed to do. It's not supposed to be about helping you, complete the forms. We all do it now because, what people put on these forms kills their claims half the time. So we got to watch it. We got to be very careful. Or what other law firms do is they'll just tell you, go file. If you get a denial, call us. I don't do that. That's a waste of time. I will go through the forms with you. That way we know it's not likely to get a denial. And if it does, it wasn't because of what you put on the forms. All right, cool. So let's see. Realtor Shahida Hill in Atlanta, Georgia has done vids on disabled low income and how to get. All right, I'm taking a picture of that. Hold on. I'm going to see if he can do one on this website too. Hold on, I'm taking a picture of that. That's really good. Hey, as seen on TV, Channel 7, keep sending me stuff like that because anything we can put on this channel to help people, I'm for it. Okay, let's see. Google it if you need to fill out a bill. Oh my God. All right, look. Let me say this, Michelle Rock, real quick. Most attorneys do not know how to properly create a bill that could actually go through the House or the Senate, the committees, and make it through. I am not making a shit show, simple argument, little article on Google of how to here's 5 steps of how to write a bill. I am literally going to walk you through how to take a bill idea and make it a reality, how to push it through the committees. This is not some little thing. That's why it's taken me so much time to invent it, reinvent it, rework it. I took all those articles from Google. I took the articles that were posted by Yale, Harvard, and a few other schools, and I broke them down to try and make it simpler. Let me make something very simple. There's not a single article online of how to write a bill at all that is at the level that you guys can understand it, that will effectively make it able of actually being passed. It doesn't exist. That's the point of what I'm trying to create. What I'm trying to create is a system that can teach somebody who is a cab driver, who is a Lyft driver, who is a McDonald's employee, who is a receptionist, an accountant, a whatever, a garbage truck driver, whatever. I'm trying to make a system that is so detailed, but at the same time so simple to understand that they can do it themselves. It'll either create cosmic chaos, people will all have the thing they want to pass, or it will start to unite people. Think about this. If you're all educated on how it's created, then you are educated on what's in it and how it got there and why it's like how it is. And if you understand that, it's like going and making a type of food, right? If all of you know how to make the same food, you're all going to jump in and make it better. Oh, here's my idea that I put in that makes it taste a little bit better. Here's my idea how to make it taste a little better. Here's a little bit of this, particular thing. Here's a little bit of that spice. Here's a little bit of this thing. You'll make it better. I'm bogged down. I have hearings all the time. I'm exhausted all the time. I mean, if you look at my eyes, this is what it looks like after owning a law firm for over 8 years. That's what it looks like. And keep in mind, I worked for 2 other law firms before that. So bottom line, and we got to switch off. I'm going to pop off at some point. Bottom line is my goal with this channel is unfortunately not the thing that's going to get lots of subscribers. But my goal with this channel is to teach you guys how to actually write laws so that you can make it better. And then I'm going to show you how to basically take politicians and pull them back from their chairs of glory so that they answer to you. Politicians fear one thing, and that one thing is to lose their job. Because when they lose their job, they have no backup. There's no magic company out there that's like, yeah, we'll take you no matter what. There is none of that. Sometimes there's one that pops up. But for the most part, when a politician loses their job, there's no company that's ready to pay them what they were making. I want them to fear that. I want them to know that if they don't give us what we deserve, then they're going to lose their job. Imagine that. A politician who fears financial loss. What a thought, right? Anyways, guys, I'm super tired. I got a bunch of stuff to do. I will catch you a little bit later. And then also, I keep forgetting this. The top 50 questions for a child claim for a child that's going through disability hearings, going in front of a judge. Those are all going to be released. I recorded them all. By the beginning of February, they'll all be done. That was a priority. I get so many moms with kids. What are the questions we're going to get asked? These adult questions are not the kid questions. Top 50 are already recorded. They will be done by February. All right. We'll take one phone call. Here we go. One phone call. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Knott. We're live on YouTube. Please remember to use a fake name. How can I help you?
Hi, Walter. This is Jake. I just wanted to say that I want to thank you for all the info that you do, telling the truth, because I was fooled about a year ago by the certain people that I had, mentioned in chat. But
yeah,
just want to thank you for telling us the truth, because we all need to hear that, because I know there's elderly people out there that are like, wow, really? There's a stimulus in this, when we all know that there's not. So just want to thank you for being you and telling us the truth, sir.
Thank you, good sir. My big focus for another video is to talk about online gambling through the phone. I have like 2 or 3 people that are addicted to it. They get a check every month. That's their retirement. They would not be living in literally extreme poverty but for this. They keep telling me, yeah, but it's coming. We're going to get the stimulus soon. And it's just like, and it's not them. This would not be happening to them, but for them, they're having these systems in place to go ahead and create desire through hope. They're hopeful that they'll win on their phone these little casino things that take real money. They're hopeful that these other YouTube channels will magically convince these politicians to support through their advocacy another stimulus. They can't release another stimulus, because if they do, the entire economy is going to literally crash.
Exactly, yeah.
I don't know how, Yeah, I get frustrated too. But good sir, thank you so much. I got to pack, but you have a wonderful, wonderful day, okay?
You too, thanks.
Thank you, good sir. So we had another call coming in, but here's the thing. Just catch up with me tomorrow, or catch up with me over the next day. I got to keep packing for stuff. I'm not going to be super at the law firm doing phone calls tomorrow unless there's an overage of phone calls. Then I'll get pulled into it. I still have to get a bunch of stuff done around here for all the holiday stuff that we're trying to get done. But I will catch you later. I do have a hearing tomorrow, so there will be a block where you de facto won't be able to get a hold of me. I will catch you later. Have a wonderful night. Oh, and also the thing I should always say at the beginning, but I never say it. The thing that the masters, like LA Blinded Billy, are masters of. Please like, subscribe, and leave 5-star reviews. I swear, for every 30,000 people I help, I get 1 5-star review on Google. It doesn't matter. It's whatever. But if this is good, like, subscribe, 5-star. You got it. I'll catch you guys later. Have a wonderful night. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.